आवाज औरत उठाए.
Hi, my name is Yogi Paramar, and I'm here to break my silence. And I am doing this voluntarily because I feel that what I have to share in my story will free me as well as make a difference to a lot of people who maybe have experienced similar things to what I had in my past. So that's why I'm here. My story goes back when I was about 5 and again at 7 when I was raped. And that experience really sort of ran my life, you know. So we were in Africa when all of this had taken place, when I was about 5 years old. And I was being taken care by our maids. My parents were both at work, and it was myself and my brothers were just kind of playing outside. My maid was kind of busy with, or our family, you know, helper, you could say, and we were just playing outside in the ground. And at that time, one of the person who worked with my dad was there, and he came to me and took me for a walk. He's like, come, let's go, let's play. So, you know, I'm in that playful state, so I went with him. Like in the middle, there was like this big area, you know, open area. And that's where I was playing, where this guy had come and approached me and took me for a walk, you know, to go and play in the garden. So I was like, oh, there's, you know, pretty flowers, come, you know, we can go pick some flowers. And I was like, so excited, and so I went along with him, and I trusted him, you know. I knew that he was a friend of my dad, and it would be okay for me to go with him. So I went with him. So there was nobody in that area. It was, you know, like a closed area where he felt it was okay to take me there. And he started tickling me. And, you know, at first it was fine. I was laughing and that. And tickled me so much that I fell to the ground. And then he, you know, came onto me. Still, I thought, you know, this is okay. We're just playing, we're just, you know, having a good laugh. But then he started touching me in places that I felt uncomfortable. And I didn't know what was happening, and you know, I kind of pushed his hand away, or, you know, tried to push him away, but, you know, his body was so heavy, like he was on top of me. I was, you know, 5, and I knew this is not normal, this is something different, something weird. Yet I, you know, didn't have the strength to, you know, push him. I said no, you know, and I did, you know, try to push him, but he just continued, you know, being on top of me and started kissing me. Came to my mouth and started kissing me there, and I was, you know, kept turning away this way. And then he started, you know, because I was wearing a dress, so he pulled my dress up and you know, took my underwear off. And that was, I was like, nobody does that to me, you know. At that age, I was, you know, dressing myself up. You know, only my mom used to do that to me, and our maid who used to take care of us used to do that to me, and people who I trusted. And this person, I don't know if I like this. What is happening? And everything started happening quite quickly. Yet I have this detail of that time in this slow motion almost, because it's very uncomfortable, and I can't, forget that. It's always going to remain there with me. Anyway, once he took my underwear off, he inserted himself. He took his pants, he lowered it down and inserted himself inside me. And I was screaming at this point, pushing him, and I just didn't have the strength to push him away, to get him off me. And there was nobody around to hear me. My brothers were somewhere playing, and and there was nobody there to hear my call for help. And so he kind of did what he had to, and right after he finished, he urinated right there, and my whole legs were covered in his urine. And I remember myself just like in shock, wanted to run, but I didn't know, I just like kind of curled up like this, after what he did. Then he told me that you go and clean yourself up and don't tell anybody. If you tell anybody, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. You'll be in big trouble. If your parents find out what you've done, he made it like it was my fault. And I guess maybe part of me maybe felt that, maybe it was me who made this happen. I went home, and I remember just sitting down in the corner and just crying, because one, I was in pain, and I knew something horrible has happened, but didn't know who to go and tell. So I just cried. I just cried for some time. It's like I wanted to say something, yet I remembered his words very clearly, that if I was to say something, I'd be in big trouble. So like that, that was like the first experience of rape. And after that, there were many times where, other men touched me uncomfortably in places that and these are, again, people who my family were, either working together or they had a friendship relationship. It wasn't like I could get away from it, it just felt like, okay, for whatever reason, this is what's happening. And even though I felt that it wasn't right, and felt helpless, like I couldn't, like what will happen if I was to tell somebody? I just didn't know what to do about it. When I said no, my no wasn't accepted. It was always, it's okay, it's fine. I really like you, you're very special, and they say words like that makes it okay, maybe. And then another experience I remember, this was a little bit later, maybe I was about 7 years old, and this was a neighbor. So where we were staying, as I said, it was like a hotel. So there was one family that stayed there, and they had a young boy, maybe in his 20s, 18, 20. And he used to, play with us a lot. And again, this is another family that my family trusted and was okay for them to, leave us with when they had to go out for work or other reasons. I was with this guy playing just outside our door, and he also took me for a walk downstairs. And so, we were just running around playing there. And there was another room there, right, as we entered that space, to the right, again, very dark room. And it had a swing in there. It was like this big, you know, maybe it was like a big cradle, or you could say. And he decided to pick me up and put me in there. And he was swinging me, and we were just having a good old laugh. And then he came inside that swing, and you know, at first it was like, okay, we're just singing together, having a good laugh. It's, you know, fun. Then he kind of, you know, started tickling me and started getting closer to me and pushed me down. And again, this guy's on top of me. And started touching me in places, took my pants off. And I'm like holding on to this, that no, you know, and the way this swing was, it was kind of like closed in, so I couldn't, you know, I was so small that I couldn't get myself out, and I couldn't push him. And he just, you know, just pushed himself and, you know, did what he had to do, touched me in places I was not happy about. He also, you know, inserted himself inside me. And it was very hard. I was in pain. I just felt like, you know, why is this happening? Why are you doing this to me? You know, we're like friends, you know, like our families are friends, and why are you doing this to me? Why are you hurting me in this way? After all of that had happened, he just got himself dressed, and it was the same kind of scenario. Don't tell anybody, because if you do, you'll get in a lot of trouble. That word trouble was like, so, you know, ingrained. It's like, you know, if I said anything, if I did anything about this, I would be in so much trouble, and I don't know what that would mean for me. You know, I don't know what my parents, maybe I'd get beaten up by them, you know, because I'd seen them when they were angry, and I didn't want that anger on me. You know, I understand they had their own challenges, and, you know, anger plays a big part when you have these kind of challenges. But I didn't feel safe enough to go to them to share this. I felt, safe is not the word, I just didn't feel comfortable going there. I felt like, you know, they have their own stuff going on. You know, if I was to share this with them, this is, you know, adding more to their problems, and maybe they'll fight even more if I was to tell the truth about this. So I chose not to. I chose to stay quiet. Didn't know what exactly had happened at that time. All I knew in my mind and my heart that something crazy, something bad had happened, and I should not speak about this to anybody, because if I was to say this to anybody, I'd be in more trouble. And I don't know what that would be for me. It wasn't until later on in my life that this came back to haunt me. While we were staying with our grandparents, again, even there, I didn't feel, there was, you know, other incidents that took place at a temple. Like, you would not expect to be touched in weird places at a temple. You know, thinking about it now. These are people who are very religious and who have a big respect in the community. And these are the people who disrespect, you know, and take advantage of kids like me at that age. What they did, you know, touching me in places, you know, they would take me in the corners of the temples where there is less traffic, and felt it was okay to touch a little girl who's just coming and playing and coming to take blessings or whatever. They felt it was okay to do that. How dare they do something like that? By this time, it was kind of almost like I was used to it. It became okay. And it really isn't. It's not okay to be touched in places that you don't feel comfortable. It's my body. I gave away that power because of fear. That fear of, you know, it took control over me. And it continued, you know, for many, many years. So when we moved in '86, we moved to UK. And I remember a moment at school where we had these police officers who had come into the school. There had been a rape in the area, and these women police officers had specifically come to speak to just the girls, to just give them some guidance and inform us that you know, we should be a little careful when we're out. And it was at that time when I realized, because that word rape was mentioned again and again during that talk that these police officers had come to give. And I was also learning English, so I remember going to the dictionary and reading about that word and realized what that meant, what had happened to me as a kid. And all that memories that were as a kid, you know, later on as I'd forgotten, came back. How dare they do something like that? I remember that night going to sleep, not going to sleep, you know, just crying out till early morning, realizing what had happened to me and how so many people had taken advantage of me. And I felt like maybe I should go and, you know, tell Mom. At that moment, I remember, like, should I go and tell Mom now? But I felt so disgusted, so dirty, so scared. I thought I might, you know, get in more trouble. Things are like really good right now with me and Mom. You know, that fear of rejection maybe, the fear of how I would be looked on. You know, I didn't think for a moment that, okay, maybe I'll get comfort from this. Never crossed my mind. In my mind, it was, I did, you know, something horrible had happened, and partly I maybe blame myself for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. That if I wasn't there, if I wasn't playing there, this wouldn't have happened. So the first person I had shared my story was my husband now. At that time I was dating him, and he was the first guy I shared this story with. And I hadn't planned to tell him this. I thought this secret is going to die with me, you know. However, life is such that it brings situations that, you know, it'll keep reminding you of, you know, this horrific past. One evening we were watching a movie, and there was this movie about this one girl who was being raped. And my boyfriend at that time said to me that she was asking for it. Look at what she's wearing. And that ticked me off. Like, I was so upset, I was so angry that I just got up in rage and went into the other room, and I had to lock myself up because I was like so upset. Like, how dare he say, this is somebody who I absolutely love and adore. How dare he say something like that? He has no idea what that feels like for a girl to go through something like that. Obviously, he didn't know what I had gone through in my past. And, you know, he knew something was off, because that was the first time I reacted in that way. And he came to me and, you know, he said, come on, you know, just open the door. What's going on? Like, why are you so upset? I said, I don't want to talk to you. You just go away. I need to just be locked up here and just be by myself for now. And he just kept knocking and knocking. And thank God he kept knocking, because that night, he didn't give up on me. He knocked until I opened that door, and it took, you know, quite some time. And when I opened that door, he just held me. You know, he hugged me. He's like, okay, whatever it is, it's okay. Just tell me. And I said to him, if I tell you the truth, you're going to leave me. You know, and he's like, no, don't be silly. Just share, whatever it is, just tell me. So I said, okay, fine. You know, you might leave me, but I guess you're not going to give up on me, you know, and you want to know the truth, and you're not going to give in, so I'll tell you. And I just started crying, first of all. I just cried, and he just held me. He just gave me the space to just, you know, cry, do whatever. And finally, then I told him, I said, I was very upset with what you said when we were watching. He goes, yeah, I know. I saw how you reacted, but I want to know what was the reason for that, because obviously there is something there. I said, well, that happened to me many times. I've been not treated correctly. You know, so many times people have taken advantage of me in this way, and you're the first person who hasn't done that with me. And that's why I'm scared to tell you. You know, I was scared to tell you this, because he goes, don't be silly. Because I'm so glad that you finally told somebody. He goes, does your parents know? He started asking me a lot of questions. I said, nobody knows, only you know now. And, you know, today, after doing so much work, you know, I really had to work on myself a lot over many, many years. I've come to realize that, you know, it wasn't my fault. I was a kid. You know, what these guys did to me was not right. They took advantage of me. You know, for some part of my life, I even had this anger towards my parents. That why wasn't I protected by them? Why were they so busy that they didn't protect me? You know, I had this upset, and I think that's why it caused a lot of charge in our relationship, you know, as later on, as we started getting closer. I mean, the reality is, you know, they did the best they could as my parents in the circumstances they were in at that time. And maybe if I had gone to them, maybe things would have been different. Maybe they would have supported me. You know, maybe it would have been different. things that I was hearing, other people's success stories and what's possible, and how fear can be for people, and how we need to get past that fear to achieve anything in life. So I was surrounded by this kind of conversation all the time, and I believe that's something that has kept me strong, and obviously his support. There was certain programs that Vijal had said, just go and attend this program. I remember doing the first program with him together, and I got some breakthroughs from that. That was like the beginning of my journey, and I dealt with anger at that time. Anger towards my family was what came very clear. And during that program, I remember calling my parents and telling them that, our relationship has been such that, I've been wanting more, but the truth is I haven't been able to get more because of how I felt, this anger that I carried towards them. And I don't want that. I said, I realized today that everything that they did their best. And it's not their fault in any way what had happened to me. It was just circumstances. And I apologize for how I was with them. So forgiveness is one thing that I had to, that was the beginning of that. I did that with my parents. I said, please, forgive me for being so angry at you. I don't want our relationship to be this way. I want us to be close. It's the first time I also experienced this sense of how much that I was cared for. I didn't see that before. And that shifted my relationship with my family and slowly started giving me a little bit of confidence to go out there and speak to more people. There's part of me didn't want to speak my truth. I was, and I'm done being afraid. I realized I have so much going for me, so much opportunity, so many amazing people around me that care for me and love me. And that's where I need to focus my energy towards. Today, my relationship with my parents is absolutely amazing, because of the work that I've done. So I know what is possible for a lot of people out there, and the reason I'm sharing my story and talking more about it to other women who have gone through similar situation, not just women, men too. I think there's a lot of men out there who also have gone through these kind of challenges. I don't look at it as a negative thing anymore. Sharing this with others, obviously, I'm coming from a different space. I'm not. I'm feeling more and more comfortable with talking about it with people, because I see the positive of that. When I share this, I see how it's impacting others and is giving other women power to come forward and speak. And so much going on, yet I knew that if I didn't do this and broke this silence, I won't be free. I want to, feel free from speaking my truth and to be support to others. If my story can empower other women to see what's possible for them and what they can do differently, starting from now, then whatever all of these negative experiences that I had gone through, maybe it was worth it. Maybe that was the reason why I had to go through this, so that I can give these gifts to other women or other people out there, other men who can see life differently. I think it's important for them to know that they don't need to live in this fear state. You know, it's important for them to know that they should speak about it. Don't let these secrets run your life. You know, we've been given this amazing, beautiful life to live. You know, live it to the max, to the fullest. You know, there is so many wonderful opportunities that come our way, and don't let these past negative experiences stop you from, you know, going for these wonderful opportunities that are coming to you now. It's, you know, what do you have right now? Look at all the good, positive things that you have in your life. Because, see, when you have a difficult past, what happens is you end up just swimming around in that all the time. Okay? Even when there's positive things happening in your life, you become blind to that. Okay? But when you start shifting yourself and start looking for only the positive and being in a place of forgiveness and gratitude, you will start seeing, you know, the value there. And I think that's kind of what happened with me. You know, even though all of this had happened in my life, I managed to find an amazing husband. I have 2 beautiful girls. I have an amazing life with, you know, with my current family. My relationship with a lot of my friends is absolutely amazing. So, you know, if you stop and think about all the positives in your life, rather than being stuck in the past, it can do a lot for so many people. You know, I realized that how much I'm capable of doing by myself, and how much I'm able to impact other people, and how much of service I am being to others. And that, you know, lit me up inside. You know, so from that, you know, just over the last few months, like just on last month in June, I launched my, you know, business, my first business ever. I have a business partner. You know, I did my first business trip. This would not have been possible if I hadn't shifted my thinking, my choices, if I hadn't started sharing with other people about my past. I didn't want to be stuck anymore. And you know what, today I am like so excited for my life moving forward. I have so much to offer, and you know, I'm ready, you know, to go out there and achieve even more. You know, given the circumstances of what happened in the past, I've already accomplished a lot. But now, being free of this, there is so much else I can, you know, I can give. It's taken me a long time to realize this lesson, that I have a choice on how I live my life. I have a choice every day. And I know doing this interview, there are going to be people out there that may not appreciate what I have to share, what I have to, you know, it might shame them. They may feel like, oh my God, you know, this has happened. How do we even be with her now? And I'm okay with that. I'm done living my life in this fear. I need to be free of this. I need to be me. And this is who I haven't been all this time, because I've been hiding. I've been hiding this whole time. So I'm almost at a point in my life that I don't really give a crap what you think. I really don't. I really don't. I have, you know, hurt myself in that process of, you know, thinking about Oh my God, he's thinking this. Oh, she's thinking this. That family member this. That family, oh, they think this of me. They don't accept me. Who cares? If you don't accept me for who I am, you're missing out. I'm sorry. You know, I'm better than that. I deserve an amazing life. I have everything amazing going on in my life, as I said. And being free and breaking their silence and just sharing with the world, it'll just take me to the next level.
एक आवाज